Midlife is full of twists and turns, and let's be real, it's not always easy. There are moments when it can feel overwhelming, confusing, and even downright unfair. But those moments of uncertainty, they're also where the power of transformation begins. I want to welcome you back to another episode of Navigating Life After 40. In today's episode, we will talk about starting over. Whether you are an empty nester, dealing with post-divorce, trying to find your way, or a late bloomer, yes, a late bloomer, this episode is for you. During this episode, I'll share 5 tips to help you move into your next act with confidence. Also, stay tuned until the end for an added bonus and special announcement.
Welcome to Navigating Life After 40, the podcast that's all about helping women navigate this exciting and sometimes challenging phase of life. I'm your host, Roni Jai, and I'll be here sharing some of my own personal experiences, chatting with experts and a few friends, and also providing some practical advice and support to help you live your best life after 40. Let's get started.
Hi, it's Roni, your midlife bestie and the host of this wonderful podcast, Navigating Life After 40. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the podcast. Before we hop into today's discussion, I have a request for each of you. If you could leave me a rating or comment on your favorite podcast platform, it really helps the show rank higher in the charts so that we can reach more amazing women like you who are looking for community and support with navigating midlife. Before we dive into the 5 tips for navigating your next act, let's take a moment to set the stage, shall we? I know many of you are feeling like life threw you a curveball at this phase of life, whether you are an empty nester, you're in the process of making a career change or some other career transition, or simply wondering what's next for me. You are not alone, and that is exactly why we're here today. Midlife often comes with a mix of emotions. We are dealing with loss, confusion, and excitement. It's a chance to reflect on where we've been, but also it's an opportunity to decide where you want to go to next. This is your time and your opportunity to rewrite the script and create a life that feels more aligned with who you truly are or the person you really want to become. For many women, it can feel like uncharted territory. It's also a time filled with potential. And here's the exciting part. This isn't the end. Just because you're in midlife, it is not the end. This is not over. Instead, I want you to imagine this as a powerful new chapter that is waiting for you to grab that pen and rewrite it. Believe it or not, I've been there myself, which is one of the reasons I started this show. And I've always wondered what's next for me? What comes next for me? I still have these moments at time where I'm still wondering this, what is next for me? Some of the same questions that you've asked yourself, I've also had those same questions. I faced the same doubts, and I've also walked through some of the same struggles. But what I discovered is that with the right mindset, a clear plan, and a willingness to take small steps, midlife can be the most empowering chapter of all. So these 5 tips that I'm about to share with you are the very same steps that help me to create my own next act. And I can't wait to walk you through them. Tip 1, I want you to visualize how you want this time of your life to look. That is tip number 1, visualization. Visualize how you want this time of your life to look. You might be saying, Roni girl, I just want the hot flashes and the brain fog to stop. Guess what? I want that to stop too. And recently I created a YouTube video about this, and I'll drop it in the show notes, but it talks about all of my favorite supplements that I take to manage my perimenopausal symptoms. And I do hope that you're able to watch that and gain some insight from it. And also, it'll help you save a couple of bucks as well if you do try any of those supplements. But as we move on, I want you to take a moment to close your eyes and imagine, what does a perfect day in your next act look like? Are you traveling? Are you starting a new career or reconnecting with hobbies that you love? I really want you to picture the details, the sights, the sounds, and even how you feel. If it's hard for you to visualize, I want you to start small. Maybe it can be just waking up feeling energized, or enjoying a cup of coffee or tea in peace, or working on something that really excites you. This mental picture can serve as your inspiration and your guide to creating what's next. I recall a time, and this was some years ago, when I worked with a coach for the first time. She asked me to write out how I see my life. Her instructions for me were very specific, but I was also very confused. And I thought to myself, this is going to take forever. Why am I paying this lady to tell me to write about my life? I just wanted to do the work. I was ready to do the work. What I didn't realize at the time was she was setting the foundation for the work that was to come. And having a vision is the foundation. It's kind of like building a house. And that house will not be steady if there is no firm or no steady foundation. And that vision for you is your steady foundation, right? And from there, we start to work to build that house. This also made me think about the scripture in the Bible that says to write the vision and make it plain. And when you really understand that scripture and understand what I'm saying about visualization, it will help you have a better understanding of the power of visualization, because that is the same that it did for me. When we write things down or we create a board of pictures, you are really setting yourself up for success. How do you know what you want to become if you can't see yourself there first? You have to be able to see yourself there and then do the work. Write it down, create a vision, or save some inspirational images on Pinterest if that's what you love. Whatever it takes to help you solidify your vision and make it tangible, that is exactly what I want you to do. And once you do that, we can move on to the next part, which is really the meat of this thing, and that is number 2, letting go. You're probably like, oh my God, is she getting ready to go deep? I'm not, but I am going to plant a seed for you here today. Letting go is about shedding the old parts of yourself so that new parts can take form. We are holding on to so many things. We are holding on to past traumas, failed or past relationships, even current relationships that are no longer serving us. We are holding on to limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging behaviors, and even a lot of fears. All of this is really impacting our ability to move forward, because this is considered heavy weight, and this heavy weight is costing us. And when I say us, I'm talking about myself as well, because I also still carry some of these things. I'm a work in progress. But this is costing us a lot, guys. And I mean a lot. If you love fashion and you find yourself shopping a lot, buying things, or you've bought a lot of things over time, I want you to imagine this. So you're going to have a lot of imagination, or really visualization exercises today, I should say. But I want you to imagine your closet in your room, your house. Your closet is full of clothes that you no longer wear, shoes that don't fit, and items that simply don't reflect who you are anymore. Every time you open that closet, you feel frustrated or overwhelmed because there is no space for anything new. Listen, how many of you are guilty of that? I am. Even though I do a thorough cleaning of my closet out throughout the year, a couple of times a year, there are still things that are there that I'm holding on to. But I want you to think about this. Letting go is like cleaning out that closet. It's hard to say goodbye to things that once had meaning. But by removing what no longer serves you, you make room for the things that align with your life today. Without clearing that space, it's nearly impossible to welcome the new and exciting possibilities that are waiting for you. I would like to take a deeper dive into the power of letting go in a future episode. If you'd like to hear more about this topic in particular, I would love for you to leave me a comment or send me an email so that I can prepare for it. If you have any questions as well, please share that with me because I like to include what you guys are asking me into the episodes. However, I want to shift a little bit because I am planting seeds today, and one of these seeds that I'm going to give you is a homework assignment. And I want you to think about this. What's one thing you will let go of to make space for something better in your life? Go back to those things that I mentioned earlier, and it could be more things as well. And I'll just reiterate what I said. I talked about us holding on to past traumas, failed or past relationships, even current ones that are no longer serving us, limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging behaviors, and fears. Or it could be some things outside of what I've named. And I want you to think about that and just write that down. And we'll dive more into that homework assignment later when we get into that future episode about letting go. But let me know if you want to hear more about that. And I'm willing to do an entire episode about the power of letting go. But once you've lightened your load by letting go of the things that no longer serve you, it's time to look ahead and map out what's next. Now that you've started visualizing what you want and letting go of the things holding you back, it's time to create a plan. Think of this as mapping out the steps to your destination. Your plan doesn't have to be perfect or set in stone. You can make it flexible. It's more about having a guide to help you stay focused and motivated, if anything else. And I want you to start by asking yourself this question. What's one thing I can do this week to move closer to my goal? Then I want you to take that goal and I want you to break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. This is what we call a SMART goal. And this can look like a few things, and I'll give you some examples. This could look like setting aside some time each day to do some research. Or if you are wanting to begin therapy or coaching, you can look into finding someone that you will be a good fit with and also scheduling your first session. You can even just spend some time writing out what you want your next act to look like. So you have the vision, and now what do I want this to look like? What steps do I want to take to make this vision into a reality for myself? And as I mentioned earlier, I want you to remember this is foundational. This plan is foundational. Having that vision is foundational. Is that taking that vision and we're putting it on paper. You're being an architect of your own life. But this foundation, this plan, it gives you structure and direction as you step into this new chapter. Now that you have a plan in place, the next step is taking action. But sometimes getting started is the hardest part. Let's take a moment to thank our partner, Black Girl Vitamins. They provide wellness products specifically designed for women of color. including their amazing menopause support vitamins. One of my favorites, MenoChill, is specifically designed to support menopause and perimenopause symptoms. Visit www.blackgirlvitamins.com and use my code NAVIGATE to save 20% off your first purchase. Can we all agree that taking the first step is sometimes the hardest? Like the great Martin Luther King Jr. said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the entire staircase. We often visualize ourselves achieving our goals or being the person that we want to become, but it's really those action steps that often feel the most overwhelming. So the question is, where do we start? It begins with being intentional and remembering your why. Why do I want to become this next person? Why do I want to find out who I am after my children are gone out to college or I'm post-divorce? Why? Who am I trying to become? Why am I doing this? Why am I making this career transition in my life? Why am I going on this journey to lose weight? Why? Everything starts with a why. Why? The why is what is going to connect you with your purpose. Once you're able to connect with your purpose, it becomes easier to identify those first small action steps to take. I want you to think about these steps as the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. For example, if your goal is to start a new hobby, your first step might be as simple as researching local classes or ordering supplies. If self-care is your option, begin with scheduling 10 minutes a day or meditate or stretch. Small, consistent actions are what help to build momentum and make the bigger picture less daunting. Another thing that you can try as well with this, if you're someone who say, you know what, I will struggle to keep up with these steps, then you might want to look at getting you someone to hold you accountable. I like to call accountability buddy, and a friend, a support group, a coach, or a therapist. It's just really having someone that you can check in with who can help keep you on track. And if you're anything like me, I never, ever want to show up to a meeting with my accountability group and I have not made any progress towards my goals. One of the things I have noticed is when I'm able to report my progress for the week, it gives me this satisfaction and I'm excited, and I'm even more excited of what's coming next. As you take these first steps, it's important to keep track of your progress so that you can stay motivated and celebrate your wins, which leads me to number 5, track and reflect on your progress. One thing is for sure about me, I am not very good at journaling consistently. I start and stop very often, and I mean very often. However, I am good about taking time to reflect on progress that I've made over time. And one of the things, if you listen to previous episodes that I've had, my birthday is the time when I typically do this. And another time that I do this is when I'm taking walks outside. And the walks outside are sort of like journaling in motion, but in my mind. But these moments help me to clear my head, and it helps me to stay motivated because I'm able to really reflect on the progress that I've made throughout the year from one birthday to the next, and also when I'm on my walks throughout the day. Reflecting on your progress is one of the most powerful ways to stay motivated and see how far you've come. It's not something that you have to necessarily do daily, but you can start with maybe once a week or once a month. Whichever option you choose, I promise you it's going to help. It's going to support you on this journey. If you are somebody who does journal and you say, you know what, I like to journal, I just don't know where to begin, here are a couple of prompts to get you started. The first is start with a check-in. always check in with yourself by asking, how am I doing today? Then I want you to move on to celebrating your wins. So the next prompt is, what went well this week? Or what's one win I can celebrate? These two questions here, or these two prompts, I should say, they are often the hardest for people to answer. It's always difficult for most people to find something to celebrate, but there is always something to celebrate. There's always something that went well for you during the week. It could just be waking up, or it could be I ate breakfast when I only eat lunch or dinner. A win is a win. It doesn't matter how big or how small. Taking that small step, as we talked about in number 4, that's a win. And if reflective journaling isn't your thing, you can also try a brain dump. This is where you simply just write out all of your thoughts and your feelings and ideas without overthinking. It's not about structure or grammar. It's about really just clearing your mind and getting everything onto paper. And over time, you will have a record to look back on and see how far you've come. What I noticed about brain dumping at times that I've tried it is that over time, the things that I have to dump on paper, they become less and less. And that's how I've been able to track my progress when it comes to brain dumping. And that might be the same for you if you give it a try. And if brain dumping or reflective journaling isn't your thing, that's okay. There are still other ways to track your progress. For example, you can create a progress chart. You can take photos to visualize changes, especially if you're someone on a weight loss journey. You'll take a before and after photo, or you'll take a before and you'll take photos along the way until you get to the end where you're in the maintenance phase. You can also record voice memos on your phone. If you have an iPhone, there's a voice memo app on your phone that you can use to do this. But the key overall is to really just find a method that works for you. And again, progress, it doesn't have to be super big. It just has to be consistent. Small steps over time can lead to big results, guys. And before we get to the bonus, I would like to ask you again to please like, share, and leave a review about the podcast on your favorite listening platform. Again, this helps to reach more amazing women like yourself who are looking for support on this journey to navigating midlife. And my bonus, this is my bonus, guys, and I stand by this, and I will say 10 toes down for this one, and that is find your tribe. God did not design for us to do life alone. There is strength in being a part of the right community. You would be surprised how many women are going through or have experienced divorce, hormonal changes, being an empty nester, feeling as though they are starting life late or frustrated about starting over, or have made a major life transition. Whatever it may be, there is a community of women and men too, but for this podcast, we're talking about women out there who can support you on your journey because they have gone through it and can hold your hand as you go through it as well. Or they might be going through it right now, and you two can hold each other accountable. Also, finding your tribe can go beyond just a group of people. For some, it may be just having those individual spaces with a therapist or a coach. For others, it might be looking at a meetup app or on a Facebook group. And if you're searching for a community of like-minded women, you can join the Facebook group that I created, which is the same name as the podcast, Navigating Life After 40. I use a combination of these things to help support my journey, and it allows me to feel that I have what I need for different things. For example, therapy is for me to process those deeper challenges, while coaching supports me with meeting my future goals. Communities on social media, they serve as a connection both on and offline for me. And I've met some amazing people on social media. They have been supportive in helping me reach my goals, and some have become friends too. But whatever option or options you choose, always remember you are not designed to go on this journey alone. And there is strength in numbers. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that. There is strength in numbers. So having that support will be helpful in helping you on the journey of your next act. And just to recap of what we talked about today, we talked about 5 steps that you can take to navigate your next act. 1, visualize how you want this time of your life to look. Visualization is so powerful, and it helps to set the foundation for what's to come. 2, let go of the things that are holding you back. This may take some deeper inner work that you might need to do. And again, if you want me to dive deeper into the power of letting go, just let me know. Leave me a comment or send me an email at hello@navigatinglifeafter40, that is 40.com, and let me know. And we'll do an episode on that, whether it's myself solo or I'll bring on a guest. Number 3, create a plan to move forward. Number 4, take small intentional steps. And number 5, track and reflect on your progress. And don't forget the bonus tip, y'all. Find your tribe and lean into the power of community. I love to hear from you. I love to hear your thoughts on this episode. And I also would love to hear what is one step you're going to focus on this week. Again, what's one step you're going to focus on this week? You can share with me in the Navigating Life After 40 Facebook group or tag me on social media. And for my special announcement for today, if you're ready to take your journey to the next level, I'm excited to announce my new coaching services that are tailored specifically for women navigating midlife transitions. Whether you're dealing with empty nests, career shifts, or finding your purpose, I'm here to help you. You can visit navigatinglifeafter40.com to learn more and schedule a free discovery call. I want to thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. Remember, midlife is a time for rediscovery and reinvention, and your next act starts today, and I cannot wait to hear about it. In the meantime, it's all about just taking the first step. You've got this.
That's a wrap for this episode of Navigating Life After 40. I hope you enjoyed this conversation just as much as I did. If you love what you're hearing, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, leave me a review on your favorite podcast platform. This helps me to reach more amazing women like yourself who are trying to navigate this amazing life. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep living your best life.